Happy Iowa Caucus Day. Large, venti Emperor Clouds tee for me to celebrate. Got my Tottenham Spurs shirt on. It's snowing out and cold even though I'm in Virginia, so it feels kind of like I'm in Iowa. Okay, I wanted to go through a couple of things to watch tonight. Storylines to keep an eye on. Now, the first and most important thing to remember is that Donald Trump is going to win the Iowa caucuses, period. If he loses, we are talking about a cataclysmic upset, a failure of polling, a failure of political prognostication. Wouldn't be the first time, but he's going to win. The question really, I think, that people will try to answer is by how much. I'm a little less into that margin thing. Here's a fact you need to know. The biggest margin ever that a Republican has won the Iowa caucuses by is 12. That was Bob Dole in 1988. If Trump wins by 15 or 20, it's a pretty significant win when you look at the history of the Iowa caucuses. He wins by 30. I mean, that's a massive win. So, if he wins by 5, yeah, I think we're right to sort of talk about it as it was a lot closer. He underperformed. What does it mean for New Hampshire? What does it mean for the rest of the race? But if he wins by 12, 15, 17, 18, 20, 21, to me, anything above about 15 is kind of hard to parse as anything other than a clear victory for him and a sort of vote of confidence in him. So that's the first thing to think about. There's just not that much drama here. You're going to see a lot of created drama. Things are happening. This might turnout is this, turnout is that. Put Trump plus 15 in your mind and say if he's plus 15 or more, I think that's a clear win for him. Okay. No, the other truth is there's not that many other candidates running at this point. So the real story, such as it is, the second sort of narrative I would tell you to watch is the battle for second place. So I think that is between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. The Des Moines Register poll that came out on Saturday night had Haley at 20 and DeSantis at 16. Now, I think DeSantis has a better operation in the state. They've spent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on it. I think Haley has the momentum. So it's sort of, momentum versus machine. I will tell you this. Nikki Haley doesn't need to finish second in Iowa, given where she is in New Hampshire. Ron DeSantis absolutely 100% must finish second in Iowa to have any chance of making it to South Carolina next month. I personally don't think it's going to happen either way. But if DeSantis does finish with 25%, a clear second place, he can at least make the case that there's a desire for him still in the race. If he finishes behind Haley, who has gone out of her way to focus more on New Hampshire than Iowa, even as DeSantis was saying he's going to win Iowa. Remember, he said that. He's going to win Iowa. That's out the window now. I just don't think he can stay. Haley, second place would be quite good. Again, if that margin is between her and Trump is 15 points or less, it would be amazing for her. If it's 20-ish points, it's not great, but not perfect. If it's 30 points, it's a problem. But still, second is second. It will allow her to go to New Hampshire in 8 days and make the case that it's only a two-person race at this point, that DeSantis doesn't matter. Vivek Ramaswamy, I'll get to him in a minute, doesn't really matter. The only person who really matters in this race is Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if she finishes second, that's the outcome. DeSantis finishes third, he's out of the race. He may not know he's dead if he finishes third yet, but he is. Okay, the last candidate that's worth mentioning, I think, is Ramaswamy. So I've been following his social media, and there's lots of it lately. And he does look like he has big crowds in Iowa at these events he's doing. I remember back to 2008, Ron Paul was running for the Republican nomination, and polling suggested he was kind of third or fourth overall behind sort of the more establishment candidates. But his people kept insisting something was happening. He was going to shock the world. He came in fifth in Iowa. I think he got 9% of the vote. Ramaswamy feels like that to me, feels like sort of that Ron Paul vibe. That said, his people insist he is going to shock the world. Shocking the world would be coming in the top 3. Look, Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to be the nominee. Let me just go ahead and say that. But if he did come in the top 3, dethroning either Haley or DeSantis, he's not going to win, but dethroning either Haley or DeSantis, he'll stay in the race for a little while longer. Remember, he's wealthy. He can stay in for a while. I still think he's probably going to finish fourth, but I am sort of intrigued. He's bet a lot. He's saying there's a plot to keep him down and et cetera, et cetera. I still think he finishes fourth, but it's at least worth keeping an eye on. And the other candidate who's in the race is Asa Hutchinson. Not going to happen. I assume we'll drop out of the race tomorrow if he doesn't drop out tonight. I mean, there's just no desire for his candidacy. So those are the sort of three big storylines I'm watching. One, Trump's margin. Two, who finishes second and why DeSantis needs badly to finish second. And three, is there a Ramaswamy sort of surprise into second or third or not? Those three are the ones to keep an eye on. Those three, I think, will tell the sort of story of the Iowa caucuses. I'll be back tomorrow with much more analysis of, once we get the results, what it all means. Enjoy your night. First vote of the 2024 election. This is exciting times. Snow on the ground in Virginia and in Iowa. Have a great night.